We have some disturbing and breaking news. It now appears that Epstein is still alive and was broken out of prison. The rumor started off a 4chan post. Someone posted on 4chan before Epstein was declared dead, but he just saw Epstein get taken out by military. It now turns out the person who made that claim is actually a prison guard, a lieutenant at the facility of the prison. But then you also add all of the cameras at the prison happened to fail. All of the guards, except this guy, happened to fall asleep. 6 months after, there's pictures at Epstein Island of a man that looks just like Jeffrey Epstein. There's also some photos that appear like the nose and ears of Jeffrey Epstein don't match. These are very dark, evil people. These Epstein files have shown things far beyond our imaginations. Turns out the crazy conspiracy theorists had it right. We have some disturbing and breaking news. It now appears that Epstein is still alive and was broken out of prison. Now that sounds insane. This is a rumor that's been going around for years. I mean, everyone says Epstein didn't kill himself. The rumor started off a 4chan post. There was someone posted on 4chan before Epstein was declared dead, about an hour before, that he just saw Epstein get taken out by military. It now turns out the person who made that claim is actually a prison guard, a lieutenant at the facility of the prison. So let me read you exactly what he said real quick on 4chan. He goes, "Not saying anything after this. Please do not try and dox me. But last night at 4:15 count, they took him medical in a wheelchair. Front cuff, but not one nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, the van shows up. We do not release on the weekends unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he's put in a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in, and we did not record the plate number. And the guy in the green dress military outfit in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him in through the gate. You guys, I'm shaking right now, but I think they switched him out." Now, this sounds insane, but then you also add all of the cameras at the prison happened to fail. All of the guards, except this guy, happened to fall asleep. How likely is that? Doesn't seem very likely to me. And it gets even stranger. 6 months after, there's pictures at Epstein Island of drones that have flown over. I'll post a picture on here of a man that looks just like Jeffrey Epstein. Almost certainly Jeffrey Epstein. Again, I thought this was all, it had to be nonsense, had to be too crazy to be true. I wanted to see the guy who posted on 4chan is actually a guard, a lieutenant at the prison. It seems very likely. So subpoena records show that this prison guard is Robert, can't remember his last name, but he's a prison guard, Robert Gavolja, something like that. Anyways, the subpoena records show they know who made the post. So what happened to him? Was he investigated? There's no follow-up on that. Was he threatened? I suspect he was threatened. Jeffrey Epstein's brother, that's who confirmed it was his body. That's what they always say. Oh, they confirmed it. They found in the Epstein emails, some emails with Jeffrey Epstein's brother. I'll read these to you real quick. After Jeff Epstein died, his brother was threatened. He goes, "I'll choke you like your brother. Your brother's mistake was that he wanted to tell the court everything. The boss wants to meet you. He just wants to see if you know him or not. You don't know us, I'm sure. You have beautiful children. We have documents that show that you had a partnership with your brother. I want to do something to see the death of your loved ones. We will kill one of your children in 72 hours, stupid." That's a warning that you better play along. Did they do the same thing to Roberto? It seems very likely. Twitter account Uncommon Sense had a very good tweet on this. I'll post it on the screen. But he said, "A lot of people are speculating that Epstein is still alive. In order for that to be true, the head of the DOJ would need to be Jewish. The head of the prison system would need to be Jewish. The person in charge of investigating Epstein would need to be Jewish. The Jewish brother and funeral home where he was taken to would need to be for Jews. Epstein would have to have access to a country that would not share information with the U.S., like Israel. Unfortunately, they are all Jews in those ever so specific and necessary positions. So you can keep speculating." There's also some photos that appear like the nose and ears of Jeffrey Epstein don't match. I looked at them before. Again, it just seemed too crazy to be true. So even though clearly they don't match, I figured, oh, it had to be nonsense. But with everything coming together, I think it's pretty clear he's alive. Now let's go back to the murder. Some interesting things. As I said earlier, all the cameras they alleged stopped working, which doesn't happen. All the guards fell asleep. They falsified records. Epstein said he wasn't suicidal. They moved him off suicide watch. And then later, they actually released footage saying it was of his cell. It's so crazy. This was old footage, and there was seconds. There was like, I don't know how many seconds, but there was frames literally cut out of the tape. So they gave you altered tape. So it's very clear there's a government cover-up going on. So back to the actual murder. All of the cameras stopped working. All of the guards fell asleep, except for the one that reported it on 4chan. They falsified records. Epstein said he wasn't suicidal, but allegedly they say he just tried killing himself, but they still moved him out of suicide watch with the guy that was supposed to be a killer. Then the DOJ released footage that was supposedly Epstein's prison cell. You know what? 1 minute. They had 1 minute cut out. 1 minute is enough time to bring out and switch out a body. Now let's get back to the murder, suicide, or possibly getting Jeffrey Epstein out of there back to Israel. Now, allegedly, all of the camera stops working. All of the guards fell asleep. They falsified records. Jeffrey Epstein was moved from suicide watch. Now, the DOJ released tape claiming it was tape of his prison cell. But listen to this. 3 minutes were cut out of that tape. 3 minutes. That is enough time to move in a body, put a fake body, take Jeffrey Epstein, take him out, put him in a wheelchair, and wheel him out of the prison. Okay, now let's get into the cover-up. Now, for this to happen, there would have to be such a massive cover-up that seems impossible to be true. Who was the head of the DOJ when this happened? Let's see, who is it? It is William Barr. So William Barr was the DOJ. Look back at his father, Donald Barr. Donald Barr is the guy that gave Jeffrey Epstein his first job as the math teacher of a prestigious school with no education. And now Donald Barr hired Jeffrey Epstein for his first job. And coincidentally, he wrote a book. There's a lot here, so I'm just going to read a couple clips of this. He wrote a book, Space Relations. It's about intergalactic space people that get bored and they kidnap humans for sex trafficking, torture, breeding programs, something Jeffrey Epstein was alleged to be working on at Azoro Ranch, massive breeding programs. Literally the exact same things that Jeffrey Epstein is accused of doing, this book is written about. Is it a coincidence? Seems doubtful at this point. These Epstein files are full of things that sound downright insane. If you took them individually one by one, you think it's just a crazy person. But when you see hundreds, if not thousands, of people reporting similar, identical things, you start to realize it's likely true. Now we're going to go back to William Barr, the guy that was head of the DOJ during Epstein's suicide in prison. Recently, the documents show, this is so ridiculous, they show a girl was kidnapped and she woke up and was raped by Jay-Z, Epstein, William Barr, I believe Pusha T. It's one of those stories if someone tried telling you this by itself, which is so outlandish and ridiculous. But when you look in the history of these people and the pattern of doing the same thing over and over, it seems like it could be likely. So now we see where the cover-up could be. Where would he go? Obviously, Israel. Israel is known for taking pedophiles, killers, Mexican cartels. They take in the worst of the worst. There was an email or a text message exchange. They're not positive who it was from, but they believe it was Steve Bannon. And he says, we'll send you somewhere. Don't worry. We'll send you somewhere where you can't be extradited. Obviously, Israel. Now, a little off topic, but something kind of connected, or very connected, I guess, actually. You go down to Mexico. There's new reports coming that the founder of Team SEAL 6 was in possession of child pornography and snuff videos, Epstein and other U.S. officials, citizens, and Mexican children. Now, it gets crazy. Supposedly, U.S. intelligence came in, killed 2 FBI agents. They shot 7 others, and no report of it. It sounds crazy this to be covered up, but after 9/11, 2 Mossad agents came into Mexican parliament with machine guns, bombs, and fake Pakistani reports going to take out the whole government, and they were arrested. It was in front pages of the news. The next day, it was closed down, never reported again, and they were quickly shipped back to Israel. Is it possible Jeffrey Epstein's dead and killed himself? Of course it is. Is it likely? I don't think so. I think the evidence clearly points towards something much bigger and darker. How likely is it that 2 cameras failed? Multiple guards fell asleep. The DOJ cut out 3 minutes of Epstein's tape. The fact that William Barr was the head of the DOJ when his dad first hired him, the dad who wrote a book about doing exactly what Jeffrey Epstein's accused of doing, William Barr also being accused of doing these same things. How likely is that? How likely, as the tweet I read earlier from Uncommon Sense, that every person involved was Jewish? How about the threats to his brother? How about the guy who posted on 4chan, who worked there, a guard, Roberto, him posting, hey, they broke him out, and them having subpoenas proving this, and then never hearing a word of it? Why was there investigation? Was he questioned or was he threatened? I suspect he was threatened. These are very dark, evil people. These Epstein files have shown things far beyond our imaginations. Turns out the crazy conspiracy theorists had it right.